Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. A few days ago, someone made a comment. They were attempting to lift up black men, and so they said something about black women that was not true. It was a white man writing it, and I tell you that because, I understood that maybe he wasn't as aware of history as um, a lot of black people get to be because we had Ebony and Jet. Also, because you tend to want to know more about the history about yourself that's been left out. So, this man was saying that black women during the period of enslavement and Jim Crow era were given special treatment. They were held in higher regard. He said that they were fed better and they worked as cooks. They were treated better and they were loved and, in the house. And all black men were feared and put over there. I'm thinking to myself, does he not realize that there were black men, many overseers were black men. Yeah, so I don't know him. I don't need to do this. And so I said, well, no, I think he's trying to say something nice, but he just doesn't get it. So I said, dude, I see your heart. I love you, but this is not accurate. Special treatment? Nope. So he comes back and goes, no, no, no. Yeah, they were given much better treatment and held in higher regard for, for years. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you trying to do this thing that divides black men and women? And it's an old narrative that says, well, black women are not a threat and therefore they're given the better jobs and they're given opportunity that black men can't get, and that's why the black woman can ride. No. And so I said, okay, peace and blessings. He didn't want to know, so there was no reason to tell him that during the period of enslavement, most plantations there were no such thing as field people and house people. If you worked in the house, you also worked in the field. If you if you worked as a carpenter, you also worked in the field. If there was a field, you did everything that you could to bring in that crop. But also, um, women were beat like they were men. They were tracked down like they were men. But they also brutally sexually assaulted repeatedly. And that treatment continued after the period of enslavement. And so he came back and said, "Oh no, no, this is true. And hey, weren't you that woman? Aren't you that woman? Are you that woman that used to have a television talk show?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm her. I used to have a television talk show, but I still have a PhD." Um, it bothered me because I knew the truth. I knew the truth of what had been done and continued to be done to black women in the name of "I own you." There are hundreds of narratives written by enslaved people. Um, Read those by the women as well. Read those stories. Even after that period, through Jim Crow and through the 60s and on up, if my mother were alive, she'd be 102. She never told us her story. She never told us why she was angry, why she was so bitter. I know that things were done to her mother and her mother and her mother. But after my mother died, she left me journals. She was forced as a child to go to work in the homes of well to do white people. And in the first home, it was the home of an undertaker. And the things that he did to my mother, I won't tell you. But she wrote them in a journal. She never said them out loud. They were the things that caused her to be not who she was. And this treatment was done so much that the sons of and the sons of and the sons of thought that they had the right to do whatever. When my mother finally stood up for herself and left that house, she went to work in a doctor's office, and the same thing happened there. You don't need a false narrative in one area to lift up another area. If you've done something worthy of being lifted up, just lift it up. Stop putting other people down just so you can look good. And stop lying about me just so you can have a platform. When I say me, I mean me and mine. We're going to get there, but it's going to require some education. And yeah, I can share with you and I can guide you and I can give you some tips, but I can't give you the answers. Those you have to find. Find them based on your own stories, based on your own life, based on what you've been through. It's what makes me so hopeful that I know what my mother went through and her mother and her mother. And my mother left here looking for a better way. She left me a clean slate. She said she was taking all that generational baggage and leaving me a clean slate. And she did. But what we do with it is up to us. Speak truth to power. Speak truth to yourself. And love who you are. 'Cause I love you.